So, you've got it. That brilliant, can't-sleep-at-night idea that you just know could be a real business. But what's the next step? How do you take that spark and turn it into an actual, legal company? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
This is the big question, isn't it? It's super exciting, maybe a little terrifying, and it's step one on this incredible journey. But hold on. Before you go designing logos or building that website, there is one foundational choice you absolutely have to make.
And this one choice, it impacts pretty much everything that comes next. We're talking how you get paid, how much you pay in taxes, your ability to get funding, and maybe most importantly, how you protect yourself and your family. This is all about picking your business structure.
Okay, so to make the right choice, you first have to know what you're even aiming for. You can think of this as a founder's checklist, a set of key factors that's going to guide you to the perfect structure for your specific goals. Now, just look at this list. It kind of tells you right away there's no single right answer here. Choosing a business structure is a balancing act. Are you trying to keep things super cheap and simple right now? Or are you dreaming big, planning to get investors and raise a ton of capital? Or maybe, just maybe, your number one priority is making sure your personal assets are safe. Your answers to these questions are going to point the way. Let's kick things off with the path of least resistance. If you just start doing business tomorrow, the law actually has a default category it slots you into. It's the absolute simplest way to get up and running, and you often don't have to file any paperwork at all. If you're going it alone, a solo founder, then this is you. It's called a sole proprietorship, and it's the most basic structure there is. The key thing to understand is this: there is no legal difference between you and your business. You are one and the same. So what's the upside? Well, it's all about simplicity. You don't have to ask anyone for permission, you're in complete control, and every dime of profit is yours. Taxes are also really straightforward. The business income just flows through onto your personal tax return. No separate, complicated business tax filing to worry about. So what happens if you've got a co-founder? Well, the default structure is basically the same idea, just with more people. It's called a general partnership. From a legal standpoint, you and your partners are the business. You share the control, you share the profits, and as we're about to see, you share all of the risks. Now, this ease of creation feels amazing at first, right? But it hides a massive, massive vulnerability. And honestly, this one single concept is the biggest reason why founders eventually move on to more complex structures. 2 words: unlimited liability. What does that mean? It means if your business gets into debt or somebody sues you, there is no line in the sand. There's nothing separating your business assets from your personal assets. This quote right here just says it all, doesn't it? Your house, your car, your personal savings, your retirement fund, it is all on the table to pay for business debts. And that, my friends, is a risk that most serious entrepreneurs are just not willing to take for very long. So how do you protect yourself? How do you keep the business risks from destroying your personal life? Simple. You build a wall. A legal wall that stands between you and the business. This is where we introduce the awesome concept of the corporate shield. This protective shield is called limited liability, and it's a game changer. It means the business is its own legal person. So if the company gets sued, creditors can only go after the company's assets, not your personal bank account. The absolute most you can lose is whatever you've invested in the business. That's it. This diagram shows you exactly how it works, see? By forming a corporation, you become a shareholder, an owner. But that corporation itself is a separate legal entity. It owns its own property, it signs its own contracts, and it takes on its own debt. That separation, that wall, that's the whole point. Of course, this amazing protection comes with a price tag. It's a trade-off. On the plus side, you get that liability shield, and it's way easier to raise money by selling shares. But on the downside, well, corporations are expensive and complicated to set up and run. And they introduce a brand new headache called double taxation. And that issue of double taxation brings us to a really key decision for pretty much any modern business. The question isn't if you need liability protection, you do. The question is how you get it. This leads us to the big showdown between the 2 most popular choices, the LLC versus the corporation. So let me introduce you to the Limited Liability Company, or as everyone calls it, the LLC. It's a relatively new invention, and it was designed to be a hybrid, to give you the best of both worlds. You get the powerful liability protection of a corporation, but with the simplicity and the awesome tax benefits of a partnership. Let's just put them side by side. Look, they both give you that critical limited liability. That's a tie. But check out taxation. A corporation pays taxes on its profits, and then you pay taxes again when you get paid dividends. That's the double taxation problem. But the LLC, it's got that beautiful, simple flow-through taxation we talked about earlier. On top of that, it's way more flexible and just easier to run day to day.
This slide shows you the power of the LLC better than I can say it. Let's just follow the money. On the left, a corporation makes 10 grand in profit. First, the corporation itself gets taxed. Then, what's left over gets paid out and taxed again in the shareholders' hands. Now look at the right. With an LLC, that same 10 grand in profit flows straight through to the owners, and it only gets taxed once on their personal returns. The difference in what you actually take home is huge.
Now real quick, you might also hear people talking about the S-Corp. The easiest way to think about it is that it's a special tax status. It's basically a way for a regular corporation to get taxed like a partnership and avoid that nasty double taxation. But there are some pretty strict rules, like you can't have more than 100 shareholders, and they all have to be in the US.
Phew. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, right? We've gone from the simplest one-person shop all the way to complex corporations. So how in the world do you make sense of all this and choose your path forward?
This table really just brings it all home. You can see the trade-offs so clearly. As you move from left to right on the chart, simplicity goes down, but your personal protection goes way, way up. And for a lot of people, the LLC really hits that sweet spot. It's the first one on the list that gives you both that critical limited liability and that simple flow-through taxation.
At the end of the day, there is no single best answer that's going to last forever. The right structure is the one that fits your business right now. So many companies start out as an LLC because it gives them that simplicity and protection. And then, later on, they convert to a corporation when they're ready to get serious about raising money from big investors.
And really, that's the key takeaway here. Your business structure isn't a tattoo, it's a strategic tool. It can and should change as your business evolves. So the real question isn't just, what structure should I pick today? It's, as my vision gets bigger and my needs change, what's my next move going to be?